Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the work of neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman to build, basically, a user's guide for your brain. We're going to decode those powerful, kind of invisible forces that drive your daily actions and emotions, and show you how you can start taking the wheel.
You know, it all starts with this one fundamental question. Our internal world, all our thoughts, our feelings, our motivations, it can often feel so chaotic, right? Just random and completely out of our control. But what if it's not? What if there's a totally predictable system running in the background, kind of like an operating system that we can actually learn to navigate?
So, here's our roadmap. We'll start by just mapping out the basic blueprint of your experience. Then, we'll look at the chemicals that power the whole thing. After that, we'll uncover a really surprising truth about stress, learn how to reward the process, and finally, reveal the ultimate control panel for your mind.
Okay, first up, we need a blueprint. According to Dr. Huberman, our entire conscious experience can be broken down into a 5-step process that your nervous system is running all the time, constantly, whether you even realize it or not.
And it flows a little something like this. Sensation. That's just the raw data from the world. You can't negotiate with it, like light hitting your eyes or the feeling of your shoes on your feet right now. Then there's perception. That's the spotlight, what you choose to pay attention to. Suddenly you're not just feeling your shoes, you're aware of your shoes. Feelings are the link between those sensations and your body. Thoughts, well, they can be these spontaneous pop-ups or you can be deliberately thinking about something. And finally, actions are the output, what you actually do about it.
So what fuels this entire system? Well, it really comes down to just a few key neurochemicals that act as the engine of your brain, driving you toward action. Okay, what's really cool about this is how we can simplify these complex chemicals. Let's think of norepinephrine, which is basically adrenaline, as the starter. It creates this state of agitation and alertness to get you moving. Acetylcholine is the spotlight. It marks whatever you're focused on as important. And dopamine, that's the fuel, the reward that keeps you going.
All right, here's where we hit what is maybe the most counterintuitive and powerful idea in this whole framework. It's about radically changing your relationship with discomfort and what you think stress actually means.
Our natural instinct, right, when we feel that friction and that agitation is to stop. We interpret it as a big sign that we're on the wrong path, that we should just quit and do something that feels a little easier.
But the science shows the exact opposite. And this just illustrates the point perfectly. That feeling of agitation is not a stop sign. It is the mandatory entry point for learning and for growth. It's the starter chemical, norepinephrine, warming up your brain for a change. It's literally a signal that you are about to learn something new.
So, if agitation is the start, how in the world do we keep going when things get tough? The key is to understand how our reward system, which is powered by dopamine, actually works.
You know, we tend to think of dopamine as this big burst of pleasure we get when we finally achieve a goal. But its main job is to be released in these little bursts when you hit a milestone, telling your brain, yes, that was the right thing to do, keep going. It rewards the process, not just the final victory.
And this is why we are built to walk uphill. The reward isn't just sitting there at the peak. The real sustainable value is embedded in the act of climbing itself. It's in that struggle toward a meaningful goal.
So, the crucial point is this. When you're in the middle of that difficult uphill climb and you consciously tell yourself, I'm on the right path, after some small win, you are chemically rewarding the effort. You are literally giving yourself more dopamine fuel to overcome the stress of the norepinephrine and keep pushing forward.
And this brings us to the final, and honestly, the most practical takeaway of this whole explainer. The single most powerful lever you have to steer your internal state.
We've all been there, right? Trying to think your way out of a bad mood, or trying to convince yourself to feel motivated. It almost never works. It's like trying to push a car while you're sitting in the driver's seat.
To really take control, you have to run the brain's operating system in reverse. You don't start with your thoughts or your feelings. You start with your behavior. Your actions are the control panel. When you change what you do, your thoughts, your feelings, and even your perceptions of the world will inevitably follow.
It's a simple little mantra, but it's backed by some profound neuroscience. You don't wait to feel good to act. You act in order to feel good. You just take that first step, and the motivation, it'll meet you there.
So the real question isn't how you feel right now. It's what are you gonna do next? Knowing that your mood follows your actions, what uphill path will you choose to start climbing?